Race 7 of the IBSF four-man bobsleigh World Cup, the season finale. We're in Lillehammer in Norway, the final day of action after nearly a month of high intensity on this track. So, the World Cup season comes to an end here, and in 2 weeks' time we begin with the World Championships in Lake Placid in the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York. That is a double Winter Olympic venue, 3280. This was the Winter Olympic venue in 1994, and it remains fast and challenging, particularly in today's conditions. A start is going to be critical. Are we going to see a new start record? Possibly. Into corner 1, nice and quiet through 2 and 3, the two right-handers. Important to keep your speed alive here, not skid it away. Between 4 and 5 here, almost impossible not to tap, but the four-man may stay straight. Down into corner 6, key to speed through the labyrinth. Into corner 7, and then 8 and 9, it's a quick transition. Then the two left-handers, 10 and 11. Now this really sets you up for corner 13 and below, because out at corner 12, you need to come into 13, get a good exit here, down the straight into corner 14. That's a little right-handed dink, and then double pressure corner 15, release onto 16, release across the line. So the exit of 6, really critical. 2 and 3, vital for keeping that start speed. And then 10, 11, 12 through 13 dictates the bottom of the track. Our World Cup points leader is Francesco Friedrich, but look at the battle for second. Brad Hall and Johannes Lochner. Effectively, whoever finishes in front gets the second place in the overall season's rankings. I think Francesco Friedrich, 61 points clear, unless he has one of those once every 3 seasons disasters, is probably not going to hand off the overall World Cup win to anyone else. Friedrich in the familiar rainbow hat, and Hansi Lochner with him. These two arch rivals and really good teammates, good friends. They work well together. Of course, on track they want to beat each other, but it's all about their competition with Adam and Moore, helping to build up the German team against guys like, well, this guy, two-time winner this season, Brad Hall. He was a bronze medalist here last week. Adam and Moore, 4th in the overall rankings, and 75 points plus behind, probably not there to move up into the top 3. Bit of Yavol there, and why not? So our start list today, 19 sleds, which means everybody that completes the run with all their crew members aboard will be into the second heat. Lee Chun-Jan and Adam Baird first off. Last to go, Frenchman Roman Heinrich and Axel Brown of Trinidad and Tobago. And in between, well, who knows? Cold fast conditions for the final race of the four-man World Cup competition. We are here in Lillehammer in Norway, second straight week of competition here, and getting our first heat underway. China's Lee Chun-Jan with Jian Miaoyan, Shi Yaolong and Wei Peng, unchanged quartet. Although they have moved around, Wei Peng at the back, in the centre, normally at 2, so they're still trying to move people around in the sled to get a better fit, to make the athletes more comfortable when they're riding the sled, because if you're not comfortable, you're moving around or tense, then it affects how the sled moves on the ice. Despite the overall weight of the four-man, the crew on board do have a big effect. Now, the women's race this morning, we were 0.05 of a second away from the track record. We may get track records this afternoon. We'll have to wait and see. 5:12 starts for Lee Chun-Jan. Big hit out of 13, right under the cameraman there. I think that gave him a bit of a surprise. And rocking and rolling on to 15. Across the line, 50.44. Well, in terms of pace, the track record is a 49.74. That's actually not from this season, that's last year's race here. Start and finish record set by Francesco Friedrich's crew in the race in what was January last year. So a little over 12 months old. Yeah, 13 into 12 into 13. Just skidding away a little bit into 13. See him change the steering there, so he releases the steer, allows the sled to straighten up, comes out and clatters the wall right under the cameraman's feet. So there's Lee. Next up, Adam Baird. He's got Jens Huller, Luca Williams and Ollie Butterworth behind him. Ollie's 10th four-man World Cup, the most experienced of the crew. More four-man World Cup races, in fact, even than driver Adam Baird. This is his 8th. That's because Ollie Butterworth did 5 of those starts with Lamindine a few seasons back. So, 17th place here. Last season on his debut in the four-man World Cup. They're in and down at a 5:07. So with a little advantage over Li Chunjian of China from the start. Best result this season, 17th place in Winterberg. 18th last week. Jens was on the two-man sled yesterday. Jens Huller at 2. This is his 4th four-man World Cup start. Former Team GB rower. 1500s up, so just about holding that initial advantage over Li Chunjian. He was out to 1700s up, little tidier exit out of 13, better speed as a result. Should carry that all the way down through 15 and 16 and at the line, 3/10 up. Okay. So from the development squad a couple of years ago with John Stanbridge. He has made his place in the World Cup team alongside Brad Hall. So, Adam Baird's 8th World Cup start in the four-man. Not bad from 12 to 13, and out of 13, watch it just straightens the runners again as he's rolling it off the corner. Just a little runner check, little shimmy with the D-rings. Next up for Monaco, Boris Pham. He's got Cyril Ferry, Arthur Prevost, and a debutant for Kylian Vachikon is on the back of the sled. So Kylian just 20, 5 races in his total career, 3 in Europe Cup, 2 in North America's Cup, all in the four-man. This is Boris Pham's 5th World Cup start as a driver, 16 before that as a brakeman. And Monaco back with a four-man sled for the first time in 4 years since Boris Pham was pushing Rudy Rinaldi. 15th place last week, their best four-man results so far, 5:14 getaway. Ooh, long skid. That is going to rob them of vital speed, 4 to 5. It's an awful lot more mass in a four-man sled. It's longer, the sled itself weighs more, but of course you've got about another 200 kilos of humanity on board as well with the other 2 push athletes. So it moves a lot more. There's a lot of tail. It swings around behind the front axle. Once it gets moving, it stays moving. Down across the line, 50.47, only 300s behind Li Chunjian. But Li in his 21st four-man, so his 3rd full season of four-man racing. And Boris Pham in only his 5th four-man drive in the World Cup. So Boris will head to Lake Placid for his, I don't know, 4th or 5th World Championships, haven't checked, but he'll be his first as a driver in the four-man. So he'll be going there for 2 and 4. Again, just a little late on a couple of those steers. And again, the extra mass of the four-man means you're getting to the corners quicker, so he may just still be kind of making those steers on 2-man speed. You've got more starting power. You've got 4 athletes pushing the sled rather than 2. You get to the corners quicker. It accelerates faster. 44th World Cup start for Patrick Baumgartner in the four-man. Eric Fantazzini's 28th, Rob Massier's 22nd, Lorenzo Bellotti's 38th four-man race on the back. In and down, 5:07, good start. But again, that shows how quick Adam Baird's crew were, 5:07. Chris Baumgartner's crew have not been hanging around this season. They're normally top 6 to 10 starters. 400s up on the current leader, Adam Baird. Now Baumgartner with a good 6 or 7 more seasons of World Cup racing than Adam Baird. Should bring that experience to bear. 1200s up. Second best speed. Adam Baird quicker, flops off 13. 1500s up. Second best speed. Still not quite as quick. How big's the margin? 1700s at the line. 49.96. On the left of your shot there was his coach Simone Bertazzo. Maurizio Boioli, I think, wrapped up at the top of the track. It's still not a hot day. And yesterday's bright sunshine has been replaced, well, this morning's bright sunshine even has been replaced by a bit of cloudy overcast. Again, 12 to 13. Comes a little late off 12, hard onto 13. Watch the runner tips. Had to drive it around 13. Fell off at the end. You do not want to roll it off there. They're doing over 75 miles an hour in 13 in a four-man. Absolutely don't want to come off there the wrong way around. In fact, they're doing 79 miles an hour in a four-man, 75 in a two-man. Fifth of our 19 starters, Timo Rona, has got Dominic Schlepfer, Omar Fergala making his 6th four-man start, and a 10th for Mathieu Herzberger. Schlepfer, the most experienced of the brakeman. It's four-man World Cup number 16 for him. Mathieu Herzberger, the man at the back, was in the two-man yesterday as well, doing double duty today. Drivers do that every day, but then, you know, they have the easy life. 5:10 start, so within 300s of our leader. Top 2 started 5:07, finished 1700s apart. Let's see what Rona's got. Well, it's 300s back at the start, pulling up to 200s behind, and now into the lead out of 6. Good entrance into the labyrinth, but a little late through 7, 8 and 9. Needs to gather it back up again. That's cost him speed. So the gap's only out to 700s. Whoa! Late off 11 into 12 and very hard off 12. Not a great exit out of 13. Third best speed. Not going to be much of this lead at the line. 1300s. It's the extra weight of the four-man is certainly helping them hold their speed despite errors. So not so much speed is being bled away as there was in the two-man and in the women's bob this morning with these driving errors, but whoa, that was a hard landing. And look at this, broadside into 13, almost touching both sides of the track. And again, down the straight into 14. You see what I mean about the whole of the sled waving around behind the front axle. When it steps out, it stays stepped. First 5 sleds down here, race 7 of the four-man World Cup. And it is the lead for Timo Rona. Next up, Jēkabs Calendar of Latvia. Ardis Bebris at 2, Mats Miknes at 3. And a change of Kaufmannish brothers at the back. Was due to be Lauris, is now Davis on the back. 90th IBSF four-man World Cup race today for the man at 3, the ironclad Mats Miknes. His 62nd in a four-man World Cup race, and it is a 20th World Cup start in four-man for the driver Jēkabs Calendar. In and down. Ooh, little tap, 1 to 2. In fact, a couple of little taps, 1 to 2. And that is going to suck any speed that they had over their rivals. And then a drift, 4 to 5. 900s up at the start, only 400s of that remains. And see what's happened with those mistakes. The speed is gone before the labyrinth. Third place at the moment, behind Rona and Baumgartner. Now behind Adam Baird. Only the fourth best speed. Nice exit out of 13. So if he could be tidy from here, he might close those margins down a fraction. Still not got great speed. Fourth at the line, 50.23. Where's Sandis Prusis these days? Haven't seen him in a while. 5:01 start. I mean, excellent getaway, but he flunked it all over 2 and 3 and didn't have a great labyrinth either. So fourth place for Jacobs Calendar, a 10th behind Adam Baird, and 2/10 ahead of Lee Chun Jan. Well, he gets in here, in and down, behind him Arnis Bebris, and then last man into the sled, Mats Miknes. Davis Kaufmann at 4, and then out of 13, good exit, but the speed, the damage had been done. 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 6 to 7. Great view of the crew. There's a lot of beef in a very small can. Next up for Great Britain, Brad Hall with Aaron Gulliver, Taylor Lawrence and Leon Greenwood. And again, little shuffling around. Aaron at 2, Taylor at 3, Leon at 4. Bronze medalists here last week, 2 wins in Winterberg and in Samoritz this season, a silver and 2 bronze medals. Are they going to be in the medals again? If they can finish in front of Johannes Lochner, they will be second in the overall World Cup rankings. But Hansi was last week's winner here and won the 2-man yesterday. So Brad Hall, good start with 5:01. Needs to be in a top-class drive here. Nice and smooth so far. 1300s ahead of Timo Rona and started 900s quicker. Best speed. Oh, skids at the top of the labyrinth. 10:11. Nice entrance into 12. Nice exit. Clean out of 13, pretty much. 1500s up. What's the speed like? 1:38.1, 85.85 miles an hour. And a new track record already, 49.63. Well, our race director suggested that 4-man might get the records, and Brad Hall is the first to do so. What does the sign say? I can't read it. Focus isn't quite good enough and my eyes aren't good enough. Not a bad looking run from Brad Hall at all, and the result, a brand new track record. 1100s quicker than Francesco Friedrich and his crew managed last season, and that's the bitter overnight low, meaning that this track is like polished marble. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, race director Sora Pedersen forecast track records in the 4-man. He was not wrong. So, track workers, the volunteers, the ice meisters, what a great job they've done. Okay, here we go. It's the fastest race ever on this track. Brad Hall leads from last week's winner. Next up, Johannes Lochner with Florian Bauer. Eric Brookett makes his 20th 4-man World Cup start. Georg Fleischhauer, his 16th on the back handles. 66th 4-man race for Johannes Lochner. And the former 4-man expert is now as much a winner in 2-man almost as he is in 4-man. Hasn't he come on so strongly in the last 4 or 5 years, Johannes Lochner? 800s ahead of Brad Hall. They started 4:96, 500s quicker, better speed as well. Little heights there coming into the labyrinth. Still 800s up. On target for a new track record, 900s up. Best speed of all, 79.6 miles an hour. Good exit out of 13. This should give him the speed. 86.2 miles an hour across the line. New track record, of course it is. 49.48. So we are now nearly 3/10 of a second, 2600s quicker than the fastest runs ever down the track. Faster than the 94 Olympics, that probably is not a surprise, but quicker than last year by 26 hundredths. Great start, 4.96 as well, 9 hundredths off the start record. Deborah Levy this morning saying that the really cold ice conditions mean, she said, you have to push the sled harder. And it's the same now. It is bitterly cold. Ice at the top hovering around -6, -7. Adam Moore, Benny Hertel. Issam Moore makes his 10th four-man World Cup start, and Rupert Schenk on the back, his 12th. 12th as well for Benedict Hertel in the four-man. 13th four-man World Cup race for Adam Moore, who finished 8th last year, 5th last Sunday. 5 dead, really strong starting from this crew as well. Just one four-man medal this season, bronze in Winterberg. Can he grab another? He hasn't had a medal here this fortnight. Didn't get one in the four-man last year either. 2800s back, behind Lochner, Hall and Rona. Now dropping behind Baumgartner as well. 6th best speed. He's going to be 5th at the line. He is 5th at the line, and he is 11 hundredths ahead of Adam Baird. So again, that shows what a good run Adam Baird had. Second out, and he's still in the top 6 with 2 of our German pilots already down. Big looping height onto 6. Came on late and hard. He was offline. Came in too far to the right and had to control that early height. And here in 15, again, you can see the way the crew ride in the sled. Legs around the guy in front. Built for speed, definitely not for comfort. 9 down, 10 to go here in Lillehammer. First heat, race 7 of the IBSF four-man Bobsleigh World Cup. Last year's winner, last week's silver medalist Francesco Friedrich, joined by Matthias Sommer, Alex Schuller and Felix Straub. Felix taking his gold medal yesterday on his two-man World Cup debut. Beg your pardon, silver medal. 61 four-man World Cup medals alone for Francesco Friedrich in his 93 previous starts, and a 4.95 getaway. And what is that noise these sleds make? That chattering noise. Adam Moore's sled was making it in the two-man. No, it wasn't. Whose was it making it? Was it Kalicki's making it in the women's race? Now France's sled is doing it as well. 200ths in the lead, 100 faster at the start. This is going to be so close with Hansi Lochner, a little bobble there. He's lost speed. Clean out of 13. Now, can he find some magic at the bottom? 600ths back, but only the 5th best speed. Lochner was quickest all the way down. 900ths back at the line. Well, they were separated by 200ths after the first heat. Or was it 800? It was 800. No, 200s. No, 100. Sorry, yesterday in the two-man. I'm getting my two-man and my women's race confused. The women's race, it was 200s between Lauren Alter and Lisa Buchwitz after the first heat. We'll focus on what we've got here. 900ths of a second apart. We're so used to measuring things by single and double hundredths of a second, but 9 seems like a yawning chasm. It really is not. Big Alex Schuller there. France, as ever, attending to the sled and the runners. He's got that mindset that nothing can ever be perfect, but you can certainly make it as close to as you can. So, Johannes Lochner leads after the first 10 sleds. Next up, Cedric Follador of Switzerland. 23rd World Cup race for him. Finished in 9th place last week in the four-man. Nicola Mariani, Luca Rolli and Quentin Juillard. Nicola's 17th four-man, Luca's 24th and Quentin's 11th four-man World Cup start. 7th place in Altenburg, their second best four-man result of the season. 4th place in St. Moritz, though. What a great day that was for Cedric Follador. 5:07 getaway. Sixth fastest start, but already out to 9th on the splits. So either didn't carry the momentum, or those tiny little errors in 1, 2, 3 have cost him. Skidding into the labyrinth as well. Watch the back of the sled in relation to the front as he leads the front off the corner. Back doesn't seem inclined to follow, so he's either steering too much or too late. 9th best speed, he's up or down to 8th position, behind Adam Baird in 7th and behind, just ahead of Jacobs Kalender. So 0-7 start, the boys are being told. Again, watch here, gets a little bit of early height and a little bit of late height as well. That 10-11 transition, not at all comfortable. Flops off there as well into 12. And then a bit of a spike in 15. Just travelling a little further distance than you want to. From Swiss to Swiss, next up is Michi Vogt, Greg Jones, Dominic Hufschmidt and Andy Haas on the sled. Tied for the bronze medal last week. First medal of the season for this crew. Greg Jones and Andy Haas both in their 26th four-man World Cup. Dominic Hufschmidt at 3 on our side of the sled. His 19th four-man. And it's a 44th four-man World Cup start for the driver, Michi Vogt. Let's see if he can get in amongst the medals again. Just 900ths back. That's how far Friedrich is behind Lochner at the bottom of the track. Second best speed, still 900ths back, so he's level with Friedrich at the moment. Doesn't lose any more before the bottom, that is. 4th best speed, Friedrich was 2nd quickest, so he's drifting away from the top 3. Whoa, and again, big slap out of 13. 7th best speed. 4th place, he'll be behind Brad Hall, ahead of Timo Rona. Yes, he's behind Brad by a 10th, ahead of Timo Rona by a 10th. .49.73, by the way, 4th fastest, also inside the old track records, which was 49.74. Skidding down from 12 to 13, and look what a violent transition that is. The sled is going hard right, the corner goes 90 left. That wouldn't be comfortable in a rally car, never mind in a bobsleigh. And again, 13 down to 14, long skid down the straight, all sapping speed. Andy Haas on the left there, as we get ready for Korea's Kim Jin-soo. He's got the other two Kims with him, Kim Sun-wook at 2, Kim Hyung-kyun at 3. They didn't race last week, but Lee Kyun-yu on the brakes did. It's Lee's 6th four-man World Cup, a 5th for Kim Sun-wook at 2, and a 4th World Cup starting four-man for Kim Hyung-kyun. Last week, 7th place here, World Cup best result in four-man. This is his debut season, Kim Jin-soo, and he's been outstanding in both disciplines. And look at that, 4.97, great starting. 3rd fastest, only Lochner and Friedrich have gone quicker. Now he can certainly pedal a two-man sled, and he's getting there as well with the four-man. If you're in top 10 in a World Cup race in your debut season, you've got a lot going for you. Third fastest start, out to 5th position at the moment, but only the 8th best speed. Again, the timing's not quite as neat as he was in the two-man. You can hear that little chattering noise from the sled as well. Don't know if it's the brake handles or the push bars or something just chattering away. 49.80. But the long and short of it is, anything that's making a noise is energy leaving the sled. Vibration is energy somehow that's making something move that should be driving you forward. Oh, Kip didn't get in quite as quickly as he might have liked to. This is a short start for these boys in a four-man. But a good run from Kim Jin-soo. 5th place. And you can't argue with that, can you? There he is. Ivo Danilevich there in the green jacket, their driving coach. He's taking a lot of care of these kids, and boy, are they rewarding him. Next up, Canada's Pat Norton, Mike Eveling at 2, Keaton Bruggeling and Shaq Murray-Lawrence at 3 and 4. This crew unchanged from the 4 last week. Rugby player Keaton Bruggeling, from one of 3 Canadian break athletes now who come from the same rugby club. 10th World Cup start in four-man for Pat Norton. Best of 6th place in Innsbruck. Race 4 of the season, race 3 of his season. And a top 6 start. Great day for the Canadians this morning in the women's bobsleigh race. Melissa Lotholt claimed her 20th top-tier medal, her first ever as a driver, with bronze. Third after the first heat, held her position, held her nerve, grabbed her medal. Oh, big drift out of 13, down to 14. Little bit of a handful for Pat Norton, but across the line, 50.37, down in 12th. So ahead of Lee Chun-jan and Boris Van. And how far behind Jakobs Kalender? 1400s. It's a wild ride. Haven't ridden this track. That's absolutely going to happen next time we come. But it is fast, and you know, when the brakemen get out on a track that's fast, they know it, because high speed means high G in the corners, and you get crushed into the sled. You really know about it when the track is a quickie, and this is a quickie. Of course, these boys know Whistler, so they know speed. Sun Kai-chi for China, 17th World Cup start. Ding Song at 2, his 20th four-man World Cup. Ye Jielong's 17th, and An Tai, 6th, new to the team this season. An, again, an unchanged lineup from last week's 10th placed Finnish crew. They can get another top 10 to round out the season. 12th place finished last week. I think they'll be very happy. It was 10th place last year. 5:04, another strong start. Long double tap 4 to 5. Exodus 6 sets you up nicely for the labyrinth. That wasn't too bad. A little late coming out of 9. There's time to recover and get online for 10, 11 and 12. And then hopefully not too much of a skid into 13. Oh, Brakeman's sitting up. He's completely lost track of where he is. And he kept his head up. He was very confused. never, ever understand why they just don't have the rule until the driver shouts, nobody moves. It's so simple, the driver knows where he is, at least he ought to. 50.28, 12th place run. 12th last week. Now, Sun doesn't know what happened behind him. He probably couldn't even feel what happened behind him. But the brakeman at 4 and Ty certainly sat up to have a good look at it. That's me in a sled, that is. My head sticking up above everybody else's. Yeah, no, not yet. Yeah, here we are. No, not yet. It's so simple. So simple. Just everybody sit tight. And then when the driver yells brakes, then you can break formation. Locknut, Friedrich Hall, that's your top 3. 15 down, 4 to go. Next for Canada, Taylor Austin. His 15th four-man World Cup race. Johan Eskrik Parkinson at 2. Mark Zanet at 3. Cyrus Gray at 4. Cyrus made his two-man World Cup driving debut yesterday. Had a really good pair of runs. It's his 10th four-man World Cup start. Johan Eskrik Parkinson starting today. Wasn't fit yesterday, so Mark Zanet took over behind Taylor in the two-man. Pretty clean so far. No dramas, 4 to 5. 16th at the start, up to 14th on the splits, 10th best speed. Good looking run so far. Not too bad in the labyrinth. 12th best speed, could still move up the order. Teammate Pat Norton is 13th. Oh, long skid. Is he going to get to Norton? 12th best speed? Maybe not. 14th at the line, 50.38. So Taylor Austin 14th, Pat Norton 13th. There's 1 entire hundredth of a second between our two Canadian crews. There's Uncle Si in the background, or the back of the sled. Last in, last out. And when you're at the back, you're on the end of the whip there. So all of these skids, all of these whip transitions, the guy at 4 gets it the most. When the sled whips around, there's no padding for the hips. One more, and then Worlds, and then home. And some of these will be heading to the beach before the end of next month. Martin Krantz for Liechtenstein, 6th four-man World Cup start for him, a 5th for Mauro Bula, and for David Schurfen, and a 6th for Lawrence Lenher. 20th place last week. They didn't race here last season, but he has got Euro Cup experience of this track. Best result for the four-man crew, 15th in Altenburg. 17th best start, 5:28. Ooh, long drift. 4 down to 5, didn't take the tap though, so out of 6. Late height in 7, flops off 8 and off 9. Flops off 11, flops off 12. Flops off 13. He's not steering early enough. So he's coming onto the corner with the wrong steering, and as a result, he's late off every corner. 50.70 at the bottom. So Martin Krantz, 17th. I was going to say, one of the smallest nations. I think in terms of actual acreage, Monaco is way smaller. But they've got to be the second smallest nation in the sport, surely, Liechtenstein. Again, out of 13, late on the exit. So getting on late, not steering early enough, means coming off late as well. There's just no way around that. 2 to go here in Lillehammer. Penultimate sled, Roman Heinrich, with 2 new brakemen. Rookie at 2, Antoine Afabiji, making his 4-man debut. He's done 2 Europe Cup races in a 2-man, 1 in a 4-man, and at the back is Briouk Izoard, and he's making his debut as well. Turns 22 on Thursday next week. It's his first ever race. Niels Blairon, the veteran at 3, in his 3rd 4-man World Cup start. So this is the young development crew for Roman Heinrich, and these are the guys that he's hoping to bring on for the 2030 games. 30th World Cup 4-man as a driver, plus 20 for Roma as a brakeman. This is his 50th 4-man World Cup outing. Let's hope it's worthy of that landmark. 5:10 start. New equipment. Start up from scratch again this season, apart from the fact that he had driven and competed before. Had been away from the sport for 2 years. Hadn't expected to come back. Nice looking exit out of 13. 13th at the start. Looks like it's 15th at the line. It is 15th at the line. 50.42. Brakes, brakes, brakes. You heard him yelling there. Right, luckily, there's an awful lot of snow and ice in this Norwegian wood. Hello, I'm a beetle. But maybe getting here with a bit more speed on race ice and with a race start than Briouk Izoard was expecting on the brakes. Maybe he didn't quite hear whether his driver was yelling or not. Out of 13, nice exit. Judging the pressure well, so he gets the steering, but the tail follows. Yeah, comme ci, comme ça. That's not bad, 15th place, 11th last week. And the final sled for Trinidad and Tobago, Axel Brown with Tom Harris, Shaquille John and DeAndre John, no relation, are behind him. For Shaquille and DeAndre, a 5th 4-man World Cup. For Tom Harris at 2, it's a 3rd 4-man World Cup start. And it's Axel's 5th 4-man, the 5th for a 4-man sled from the Caribbean at World Cup level for 20 plus years. In and down, 5:18. That's a decent start. $19 sleds in the field, so this will be the first time, assuming they all get down, that Trinidad and Tobago make it into the second heat. The same as with yesterday. Axel Brown and Tom Harris got that second run for the first time. It all helps with the knowledge, helps with the experience, helps you have an opportunity to move up in the standings. Ooh, little rattle. 11-12. Challenging Martin Krantz of Liechtenstein, but behind at the line. So that uncomfortable 10-11-12 section robbing them of speed. 51.10 downtime. They are 19th. They will be first off in the second run. So something that the boys haven't had much experience of so far, which is getting out and getting into the leader's box. Now, has Axel just got stuck, or has he hurt himself? Ah, the seat. That's the seat. That little thing he held up, that is the entire seat. You sit on the carbon cowl, and there's this little brace for the small of your back that goes between the frame rails where you sit, and that's what you push against, and it broke. So you put your feet out onto footrests and brace yourself against that seat back. Can't get the staff, can't get the seats. Do you know what? They're still down in one piece. And the reason you brace yourself is so that you're not hanging onto the steering ropes when you're trying to steer the sled accurately at 80 miles an hour plus. So drama for our final sled, and drama at the top of the pile as well. Just 900ths of a second is the lead for Johannes Lochner and his crew after the first of our 2 runs. So is Hansi going to claim his 2nd consecutive win here? His 2nd of the season? Or will Francesco Friedrich grab his 4th 4-man win? Brad Hall fighting off Mickey Vogt, and then Kim Jin-soo, Timo Rona just 300ths apart. 600ths for the next spot between Baumgartner and Moore. Adam Baird 9th, 200ths ahead of Cedric Follador. It's going to be tight all the way, and we even have a few hundreds right at the front of the field, all the way down to the tail of the field. 1 run left in the World Cup season. I can't believe that we have got here already. So, 14:30 CET, 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time. That is in just over 40 minutes from now. Join us then for the final World Cup race, the last shootout before we go to the World Championships in Lake Placid. We'll see you then.